Right. Right. Grace and mercy. Well, mercy. That's what I'm talking about today. Without mercy, we would all be dead by now anyway. So I'm waiting for Junior to come on. Junior? Okay, so it's about mercy. I'm also gonna add in there grace and mercy, okay? So we go out of the Bible, like I said, right? That's how we do it. That way there's no conflict. You can't say any of it's wrong. Okay, so Genesis 19:19. Behold, now thy servant have found grace in the sight and my life, and I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. Okay, so how come in my dream he's to a mountain and he tells me to look up to the top of the mountain and there's a big light? Okay. So I'm saying to you guys, without mercy, none of us would be here. Okay. He has mercy for us for our sins. All right. But that door is closing. There's only a small wall. Biden, I just watched. I don't want to talk much about it because I don't like to use state. But, anyways, let's go to this clip that I just watched. Okay, let's go. No, Trump was conceding again. Um, People are saying that they're still not good with him. They still say he's going to be president, which I just watched. He's not going to be, okay. He just conceded today. How you doing, Fuller? So you know that Trump conceded, right? Um, See, God gave me this discernment of that right away. And today he did concede it again, and people are still not getting it. Now the world's going to flip upside down. You're going to see we're in a different era already, okay? It's going to affect the whole world. They're right now Israel's bombing and Iranians are going to start coming back, blow up and it's gone. But it's going to split, okay? And literally split down the middle. That's why God's been taking people out. Oh, it's freezing up. And God's taking people, hold on. He's taking people out with the fire that he did in California, okay? So we have to, I see a lot of preachers teaching online, well, the great 7 years of great tribulation have to start. It's already started. They missed Jesus the first time he came. Good to see you too, man. I haven't seen you for a while. I have some very interesting uploads on my Mixler, Daryl, from around the world on there last night. It's very powerful. Okay. So Mike is my teacher, and he's the best teacher I've ever heard in the world. And I'm not praising him besides Jesus in the Bible. Okay. The next I go to is him because he preaches out of the Bible and he knows how to teach that Bible, man. I'm telling you, my wife was mad at me a couple of days ago. She was trying to prove that he wasn't real. And everything that she came across, there was nothing on that. So Genesis 24:27, this is about mercy, okay? And he said, blessed be the Lord God of my master Abraham, who hath not left destitute my master of mercy and his truth. I being in the way, the Lord led me to the house of my master's brethren. Okay, so I don't have much to say about that one. Genesis, I'm back in Genesis again. I finished reading my Bible, and it's very long, and there's a lot of things in Genesis. Actually, I want to get one scripture out. There's a lot of thing I just read about to suffer long getting through it. Okay, it's a little boring, but you know what? You have to read it anyways. Can you see my comments? Yes, I can. Hold on, I'm going to get a passage out of my Bible today that I read that I've been trying to teach people. Okay. Okay, so this is what all the dark side wants to get back into. Okay, so let me put it this way. Okay, so Jacob, not Job. Okay, so when Jacob was left alone, prevailed not against him, he touched as he wrestled with him, and he said, "Let me go, for the day breaketh." And he said, "I will not let thee go, except you bless me." And he said unto him, "What is thy name?" And he said, "Jacob." And he said, "Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel." So that's he changed his name. This was an angel of the Lord he wrestled, and the power of God. And okay, thou power. Okay, no, I went too far. Called no more, but Israel. For as the prince hast thou power with the God and with men, and hast prevailed. And Jacob asked him and said, "Tell me, I pray thee, thy name." And he said, "Wherefore is that thou dost ask after my name?" And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face. Face to face. Okay, he wrestled with one of God's angels. Okay, and he left a thorn in his side. Okay, in his thigh, and it hurt him for the rest of his. Our thorns in our side is the evil that dwells amongst us that keeps trying to get back in. You might be able to get it out of you. I wish my connection wouldn't do this. Okay, God's face to face. So he wrestled with the angel, life was preserved. So angel he wrestled left him walking for the rest of his life with a limp. The sun rose up on him, and he halted upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Israel eat not the sinew of thy thigh unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew that shrank. Okay. So what happened is he was left with it. It was a curse, and you keep committing that sin. Are you still there, Daryl? My channel's just lagging up today. I'm getting attacked. I've been attacked for the last 2 days, but I haven't done the sin. Thank God. I'm getting through it. Okay. So when you get through it, he'll give you rest for a while, but he's always going to test you, with that sin. To, and you're going to walk with the limp in your spirit for the rest of your life. Okay. So I don't know why it's disconnecting and connecting lots right now. It's actually annoying. So we got to look at it this way. No matter what's the day you die, there's no getting away from that. God's going to test you over and over and over, and it gets you stronger each time. When you say no to the devil, he flees, okay? So then it doesn't mean he's not going to try to get bested till the day you die. Okay. And that's to prove that you're God's choice. I don't want to go on that because we're going about mercy. Genesis 43:14. And God Almighty gave you mercy before the man that he may send away the other brother and Benjamin, if be bear vid of my children, I can't, I'm not understanding that one, so I'm going to move on. Exodus 15:13. If I don't know something, I'm not going to sit there and place words into it. I don't understand some things, and I just move on because I don't. Thou in the mercy has led forth the people which thou hast redeemed. Thou hast guided them in thy strength unto thy holy habitation. So a lot of people think in our weakness, Jesus is strong. It's opposite of that. Jesus gives us strength in our weaknesses. Okay. So he did it with me today because I came home and on my mind was that sin and it kept trying to make me do it. And then he gets me tired and I had to go sleep because he does this work in you. A lot of the work God does in you, it's when you're asleep. Okay. And he'll put tiredness upon you and you'll get tiredness upon you and I'll have to sleep after that. Okay. Because I'm fighting and does to you in your sleep. He helps deliver you in your sleep and in your dreams. Okay. So he's constantly working on you whether you're asleep or awake. It's a nonstop thing for him too. God is long suffering, like Mike was saying last night. You don't think he's suffering because of what you got to go through? That's what long suffering means. He's long suffering. So it's hard on him too. You going through the processes, us going through our process that we have to make it to him. It's not easy for worth it in the end, just like I told my wife. I try to explain, I wish my connection would stop doing this, okay? It's disconnecting and it's lagging and it's sometimes because the temptation is so high on me, it tires me out. And I'm in war at this with this thing for the rest of my life. So I accept that, okay? That is what it is. You can't complain at God's test that he's sending on you because God has his hand on good and evil, and he uses evil for good and good for evil, right? Good to bring the evil home and evil to scare the good home. It's like me, literally, my teeth were chattering. Okay, I was scared, and he gave me a last warning, and but then he's just tried me with that one he gave me a last warning with. So I have to fight it. I can't say no. You can't tempt me anymore, God. God tempts you. It's even in the prayer. Okay. So our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Like our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass us. And lead me not into temptation. Okay, so when you're getting temptation, that's the best prayer to say. Lead me not into temptation. God puts these trials on. Okay, lead me not into temptation. So that's about all you can do when you're in temptation and read the Bible and go to God and sing out to God. And pray to God. That's the prayer. And please lead me not into temptation. Because all your temptation and all your trials God puts on you. God says it in Ephesians. Your tribulations I send you for you to glory in after. Okay? So Exodus 26, and showing me mercy. We got to keep his commandments. That's all to it right now. We're so close to him coming back. These preachers on teaching the 7 years of tribulation haven't started. You know why? Because of rapture. Okay. So the 7 years of temptation to them, um, of tribulation to them, hasn't started because they haven't been raptured yet. So all these rapture people are going to miss that you're not getting raptured, and they're going to go against God and say, "How? Well, there's no God because I didn't get raptured and I'm left behind." Okay, it's simple to see rapture's fake. Okay, it's simple to see it, man. Really simple. That one God showed me in my dreams as well. Okay, so and if I set it aside, God will say, "Well, now I want you to do something," and you say, "No, what are you? A disobedient child?" Okay, so what God asks you to do, everybody has a job for God, and I wish my connection would stop doing this. I just paid for it actually the other. Okay. Actually, the length, therefore, and the cubit and a half, the breadth, therefore, the length and the width. Okay. The breadth is the width. Okay. Exodus 25:18. And thou shalt make 2 cherubims of gold. Okay. We don't need to know about that. And that make a cherubim one of the end, another towards the mercy seat shall the faces of the cherubims be. And thou shalt put the mercy seat above you, above the ark, and in the ark thou shalt put the testimony I shall give thee. So the mercy seat is on the ark, and the ark I do believe is in heaven. They made many imposter arks on this earth that they found. Okay, so and it's in heaven. So because it tells you about it in Revelations that he opens it up and everybody sees the ark of the covenant. Okay, so the mercy seat's in that. Okay, so I didn't even commune with thee from above the mercy seat, from between the 2 cherubims. Okay, so it's still going on about that. And thou shalt put it before the veil that is by the ark of the testimony, before the mercy seat, that over the testimony where I will meet thee. Okay, so the tabernacle of the congregation and the ark of the testimony and the mercy seat that is thereupon. Okay, Exodus 33:19. And he said, I will make all my goodness pass before thee, and I will proclaim the name of the Lord before thee, and I will be gracious to whom. So God picks who he's got to have mercy on to. Okay, it's up to him, not up to us, if he's given you mercy or not. But of course we are, because we're still alive. Okay, forgiven iniquity and transgressions of and sin, and that will be no means clear. The guilty visited the iniquity of the fathers upon the children and upon the children's children unto the 3rd and the 4th generations. Okay, so we we have a generational curse going on here. It's going to be broken with you, because this is the last time when Jesus comes to the earth this time, it's over. And then we go into the 1,000-year reign, the millennium, okay, which is on our doorstep. The beast is going to rise in because America, that's why they didn't put Trump in. I believe Trump is better than Biden, but it still would have played out no matter what, because God's got to play out the saddened, buddy. God does put the temptations on you. That's trials and tribulation. That's what tribulation means. So all these teachers that are teaching that the tribulations aren't here, why don't they speak for themselves? I have a friend that comes online. His name is Tom. Okay. He has been battling hardcore evil, and he keep wanting to take him over. So I have to, even to the point of killing himself. Okay. All the time, to see how he's doing and to try to give him tippers on how to get over those things. He has a problem and he keeps going back to it. Like I said, I had marijuana in my drawer here, and God almost gave me over to a reprobate mind because of it. I'm a teacher. I'm not to be sinning. I'm not to be smoking marijuana or drinking or swearing or lying or deceiving and the same. Oh, see, I'm frozen up again. Okay, so the same for him. God's trying to raise him, but he's working, but it's bad enough, because a sin is a sin. Right? And he gave me a last warning for mine. He usually doesn't give people warning. So why did he give me one in a dream? that I chattered my teeth for 2 days and cried out to the Lord. If you do immoral sin, that's lasciviousness, that's fornication, okay? Sexual sin is immoral, okay? So that's the one I have trouble with. And I'm going to have trouble with that one. The other ones, a lot of them are swept clean out of me. Okay, but this one I built in my time since I was 9 years old. I was doing this sin. So each time you do the sin, you've watered that sin. You've opened the door to Satan to just contain a little more of your life. So at the end, like we are in right now, you've got to contend with this 24/7. Okay? No, exactly. God will tempt you and he'll use Satan to do that. Okay? With everybody. So God uses the evil for good and the good for evil. Okay? The good to bring the evil home and the evil to bring his children home. It all people don't realize how beautiful evil is. Because God uses it, has his hand on everything. And you should see all the people that predicted that Trump was going to get in this second time. We can't curse them. We can't go against them. We can't say, I told you so. That's not in us. That's very bad. That's it's easy to sin, but it's hard not to sin. You've been telling me has been unproving the Bible. And you can't unprove the Bible. So, but I'm not going on their channels going, look, I told you. I up by the roots. The 3 kings plucked up by the roots, okay? They're doing the same thing in Israel right now as they're doing in America. It's the exact same thing. Those are 2 of them plucked up by the roots. And the one in Germany, I guarantee, is going to be plucked up by the roots. Okay? So Trump didn't want to leave, and he's well rooted with America. He was born and raised in America, and he's well for it, and he doesn't want to leave, but he has no amount of power. God puts kings in, but God removes them. So everybody wanted Trump in. Okay, so, and they were all saying how Trump's going to make America great again, and I love Trump. And they were all putting everything to man. It's coming to the time where you got to put all your beliefs in God and not man. And that's why I'm staying on the Bible verses. That's why I'm staying in the Bible. Because you're not to believe me. You're to believe the Bible. And that's why I go out of the Bible. I don't go out of my own conscience and make things up and put them on here. It all comes from the Bible. He's been telling me to share about the Bible right now, okay? So all my teachings are coming straight out of the KJV Bible, all right? Exodus 35:12. The ark and the staves, therefore, with the mercy seat and the veil of the covering. Okay, so we all have a veil in us as well as there's a veil above. If there wasn't a veil above us, you'd be walking around like a robot because you'd see the demons and you'd see the angels and you'd see everything. And you would obey God for sure because you would see everything. That's why it says, blessed are them who have believe and haven't seen. Okay. And we have a veil in us as well. So those things are here on this earth. They say, oh, another dimension. Yes, but the dimension is here. So, and they say there's all these universes out there. There is not. There's one universe. That's it. And we're the center of. Okay, we're the center of what is mercy. Well, it's God has mercy on us because we're alive right now. It means it's like a covering. It means, okay, I'm going to kill you, but I can't do it because I love you. Okay? So God is wrath. He hates sin. That's why he put Jesus, so he doesn't have to look upon it. But I believe Jesus is sent on his way, and he's on his way right now. Okay? So that's what mercy is. Mercy is that he doesn't want to hurt you for all the sins that you've done. He wants to bring you home. Okay? So God works this unstable connection stuff. Is it really laggy, Junior? It's a lot about the cherubims that I'm not going to read, and the ark and stuff that I'm not going to read. Okay, because Leviticus chapter 16:2, and the Lord said unto Moses, Speak unto Aaron thy brother, that he come not to all times into the holy place within the veil before the mercy seat. So he, he opened up the veil for him, for Moses. That's why when Moses came back, he was pure light. They couldn't even look in his face because God tell him veil for him. And he was right there. God was right there with him. So that's why God is with us. Okay. He's with us all the time. He can see everything. He's omnipresent. That means he's all places at one time. Okay. I don't like and he upon the mercy seat eastward, and before the mercy seat shall he sprinkle of blood with his finger 7 times. Okay, so now Jesus did that too. Jesus's blood, the funny thing is God put the Ark of the Covenant right under where his cross was. When Jesus was on the cross at the end, there was an earthquake and his blood dripped down on the mercy seat. So now he was the last sacrifice. We don't need to sacrifice animals anymore. They used to sacrifice animals to use their blood to protect them. All right. Now they don't have to because Jesus was the last sacrifice. Okay, so it's talking a lot about that. I'm looking for a lot of the mercy that's shown right here. Okay, Deuteronomy 7:9. Know therefore that God, thy God, he is God, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations. Okay, so for forever, pretty much, because a lot of commandments aren't even in this teaching for some reason either. I don't know. I just I mean, there's not a ton to say about the mercy that he has for us. It's we're blessed to have his mercy. That's all I know, right? Okay, Samuel 2:7-15. But my mercy shall not depart away from him, as I took it from Saul, whom I put away before thee. That's why he changed his name to Paul. Okay, I'm about ready to get rid of this because, mercy is straight out mercy. Okay, we would have died for it, right? So everybody has to go through a process to come. At least he's giving you option to make it or not make it. Not really lagging. Grace in the KJV Bible. 44 verses about grace. I'm going to go on to the grace part. Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy. See, they go together. Mercy and grace go together. Don't take advantage. Grace means, okay, you have that grace. Okay, that's an evil thing to do. God give us grace. Grace and mercy are in the same. It covers our sin. Okay, so there's a multitude of sin. Grace abounds that. We're not to be using it. Oh, God has grace upon and mercy upon me. Now let's go sin because he's going to forgive me. No, eventually he's not going to forgive you. Yeah, it's constantly lagging. I don't know. What is grace in the KJV Bible? Or let's just do it this. What is grace?
Here's the definition of grace. Simple elegance or refinement of movement.
Refinement. She moved through the water with effortless grace. Courteous goodwill. An honor or credit to someone or something by one's present term, present in many religious. It's been defined to regenerate and sanctify, to impure virtuous impulses, and to impact strength, and to endure trial and resist temptation, and as individual virtue or excellence of a divine origin. Definition of grace. We often define grace as undeserved favor, but the grace of God has another meaning in the Bible. Okay, so what is grace? It seems like a simple question, but the answer has a lot of different angles to it. It is recent. Okay, Pastor, I. Okay, so this person asked the pastor, I'm shy to ask this question. I'm embarrassed today. That word is grace. I often hear it and define as un. So favor or getting what you don't deserve. And I do see. Okay, for grace, you have been saved through faith, and that not of yourself. It is the gift of God. So grace is a gift of God. Okay, so where sin is, grace abounds much more. So he gives you grace and mercy over that sin. But eventually, if you keep doing it, he's not going, because you've turned your back so many times on that sin. You're going to be caught in that sin. And thank you to Jesus and God that he showed me in my dream that this is he gave me a final warning. So I always think when I'm going to do that sin of that final warning and I get out of it, first of all. But I don't understand in the context of texts like 2 Corinthians, my grace is sufficient for you. My grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness. Power of Jesus. A lot of people think, well, I can't stop doing that sin. I'm never going to stop doing it. It's impossible. Baloney. With the power of Jesus, you will. But you're going to be tried with it many, many, many times. I've been saved through faith and not of yourself. It is the gift of God. But I don't understand in the context of the text like 2 Corinthians. My grace is sufficient for you. Power is made weakness. Where when we are weak, through him we get our strength. Okay. So that's why prayer comes in. You gotta, I mean, if you're gonna sin, man, you can't just go, oh, I'm gonna go sin now, because you're not even trying. Okay, sometimes I go to do it and then I stop. I go to do it, then I stop. Then I pray out to the Lord. I read out to the Lord. I go teach, and it's gone. Okay, it's hard not to sin. It's easier just to sin and get it out. Okay, it's very hard not to, right? But by grace of God, I am what I am, and His grace towards me was not in vain. On the contrary, I worked harder than any of them. Through it, it was not I, but the grace of God that is with me. So it's not I that stopped me from the, and especially when you're teaching, it crushes you. Are you still there, Daryl? Or are you gone again? Was my teaching too boring for you today? But that's why I changed it up, because I wasn't, I wanted to go into what it meant more for you, because Junior didn't really know what it is. What is true forgiveness? When truly in your heart you've turned. Okay, so you can't, forgiveness and forgetting are in the same category. So if you forgive someone and you haven't forgot, you haven't forgave him. Okay? So you have to forget about that now. You've released that forgiveness. Try not to go back to and rehash it, because then you truly haven't forgave him. Forgiveness is one of the most important things, eh? So it says in the Bible, if you don't forgive one of God's, that forgiveness is huge. If he comes back, because God forgave everybody that's gave themselves for him, so why can't we? We don't have the right not to be forgive, or we're not going to be forgiven from the Father in heaven. And it says that in the Bible many, many times, okay? And it's good, but you're going to go through more. Your sufferings, Jesus said, your sufferings just like he suffered on the earth. They hated you just like they hated Jesus on the earth. You have to go through these sufferings for his sake. He had to go through them for us. So vice versa, we walk with Jesus, walk in Jesus. So we have to go through them for the rest of our life. They're part of our trials and tribulations, and not complain about it. Like today, I try as well. Like I cry out always to the Lord that he would totally get rid of my strong man. But it's on my sin train. And the further I get away from God, the closer I get back to my sin train. Okay, to doing a sin. We have the foundations in us are weak, and Jesus is making them strong again. So that stuff can't get in and totally break you down, make you forsake him. Forsake him means turning your back on him, not believing him anymore. Okay. And he will forsake you for forsaking him. Okay, so the power is made perfect in our weakness. 1 Corinthians 15:10. But by grace, God, I am what I am. Okay, I said that one. Worked harder is not in vain. On the contrary, I worked harder than any of them. Through it, it was not. But the grace of God that is with me. I don't understand grace in these verses. Can you explain it to me? Well, what we do here, I love all the questions. Actually, some of them are too hard to love, but this one is a softball to me, because those verses that she is troubled by are some of my favorites. But here's one of the reasons I love this question. It gives me a chance all really in this together. I don't have any special advantage over you in answering these questions, except maybe that I have had a little more practice. In other words, what do I do when I hear this question like this, and sometimes Heather could do or nobody could do? Okay, putting the pieces together. I open my Bible and I get my concordance and I look up all occurrences of grace. 124 in the New Testament, 86 in the Apostle Paul, means 2/3 of the uses of the word grace in the Bible are in one author, Paul. No wonder he is called the Apostle of Grace. Okay. I love Paul's writing in the end of the Bible. The one I don't really like is Genesis, but we have to read it. The beginning is to know the end. So Mike is going to come on soon, I do believe. But I'm going to put these pieces together. I open my Bible into the concordance, okay? And I say that, encourage Heather, not that she should nothing magical as holding on an office at church like a pastor, magic as having a degree of doing scholarship. You know, look at the Bible has to say, and then do your best to see how it fits together, all while being humble and submitting your mind to what the Bible teaches. You're always I don't know. Grace under favor. So to answer your question, let the limit of ourselves of Paul to who quoted, and to the two uses grace that she show or she so she show or so on the one hand grace is called. I think it's an absolute wonderful phrase, understanding favor. Romans 3:24, we are justified by his grace and through the redemption that in Christ Jesus. Grace is what includes God to give gifts that are free and undeservable by sinners. Wow, that's a good one. So it's a gift. Grace is a gift. Where it's just, I want to find the one, and the free gift by the grace of that one man, Jesus Christ, abounded for many. So grace is the quality in God that produces free gifts for guilty sinners in salvation. See, in your sin, grace bounds much more. So don't take advantage of grace, because so what you're doing is you're if you're sinning and you know that you're sinning against God, that's going to hurt your soul eventually. Okay? We're not to be sinners here. We're saved by grace through our sins, but we are saved because we're saved by grace. And it's a gift for guilty sinners in salvation. Salvation means save, in your saving. So it covers your sin a little bit, okay? But if you're premeditating sin, again, you better cry about it. That's all I got to say, because I do. Because it talks about premeditation sin in the Bible. If you know you're sinning and you do it, the only way to be forgiven for that is to weep. Okay? So that's very important to know that. And I do. But some of them, I mean, you're doing a sin, okay? And this sin is the one that follows you. I have one that follows me, and it's the hardest one. One of the it wants to get back into you. Because when Satan and that sin goes in you, he's feeling the pleasure that you're feeling. So he desires that pleasure. And if you're not of God, you're going to desire that pleasure too. And hey, man, I don't desire it. It comes up and it tests me. And most of the time I say no to it. And I've got to the point where I can't even say yes to it. God's gave me one last chance, one last bit of grace and mercy. I got to use the washroom. I'm going to check if Mike's on. I'm coming back here in a second. Okay, I'm back, guys. I don't think Mike's coming on it because he's Paul Begley today. On Thursday, Paul Begley comes on tonight. So if you guys want to watch that later, you can. I sometimes put him on my mixer because we need to use my mixer. You can't see my face, but I can type, right? Daryl, you took off, I guess exciting one, but it's important, okay? Because it's God basically forgiving us through grace and mercy. Okay, so if he wanted to destroy us, he could. at any time. That's his grace and mercy that he does it. So in that we committed that sin, we're still alive tomorrow. If we are, then that's good for everybody. So, and God gave me a last warning, but I still fight with it. Okay. He's still going to test to see if I do it. All right. He's going to do that for the rest of mine. Romans 11:5-6. At the present time, there is a remnant chosen by grace. But if it is by grace, be grace. So you can't work to earn grace. It is a free. We don't deserve grace and mercy because we've done that sin over and over and over and over again. And in God's day, before Jesus was walked on the earth, he used to give them over to Satan, and Satan would destroy them. He would kill them. He wouldn't kill them. God doesn't kill them. They give themselves over to Satan by making the wrong choice. So you're going to die twice, the second death. So all this stuff is what I think about before I do that sin. So you're supposed to forget what happened to you? Yes, if a person does it to you, to forgive her. Because if you bring it up again, you're going to bring up an anger. So there again, you've sinned. Now you've opened up a door. Anger is opening up a door. God has no anger in him. So he's trying to get it so that we have no anger in us, because we have to be like Jesus when he comes back. But Jesus is the one that is going to help finish your deliverance, okay? So just because you're delivered from an evil doesn't mean it's not going to come back and try you again. Okay, mine's been doing it because he's really trying to get back into me. And I'm not allowing it, because I'm not happened today. And then I just gave it all to God, and I asked God, and I warred with him, and I said no many times today, and I read my Bible. And then you said, when are you coming on? I said, you know what? This is a good time to come on because it helps me. So bringing people to the Lord covers many sins too. And love covers many sins. So, and works covers sins too. So if you're doing all these things, all these of God when he comes back, and here's what's going to happen. The people of God, they're going to be turned into their bodies right here on earth. They're not getting raptured. That's not how it works. It's coming down where we live and reign with Jesus Christ for 1,000 years. So where are you going? We're at the last time. We're not going to go unless we're going to the wedding supper of the Lamb. And that you have to be, God shows me I'm going to go there, but I still fight to go there every day. He showed me in many dreams that I go to the the wedding supper of the Lamb. So that's where we go and meet him in the clouds. Our angels come and get us. And some people have to stay here and teach. God's given them another chance, is what I'm saying. At this end, a lot of people are going to be taken, the ones that gave themselves over to the number of the beast. Do you realize your phone is a part of the number of the beast? You bow down and worship it. Where's my phone? Where's my phone? I see it all the time. Okay. So, and when you get a new phone, they exchange the chip from your old phone into your new phone nowadays. That's what they're doing. So that same chip is in your hand, in the palm of your hand. Okay. And you do works through it. Some of your works that you do through your phone. People don't realize the number of the beast is partially almost already all here right now. Okay, so they're going to give they're going to put another chip into someone. I don't know if it's a chip. I don't know what it is, and the Lord will let us know when that happens. Whether it's to do with the vaccination, whether it's I think it's a few different things. Everybody's going to have a WellNet card, a new citizenship card that has a chip in it, saying that you got all these vaccinations and that you're a part of them, which you can use it. Now, is that in your phone? Because they're introducing that stuff to the phone. COVID finders and all these other things. Okay? Through your phone, I do believe it has a chip in it, and it has eyes to see the whole world. The Bible explains it has eyes to see the whole world. So, what are you holding in your hand that you could go to the whole world and you can see things in the whole world. You can see the world Google map if you really want to. So I believe the chip is already here, and they're just people just don't understand that part of it, right? They can track you, they can see where you are, they can work through this through rate to the frequencies. They can tell if you're lying. They can tell who's using your phone. If you're not using your phone, they know you got voice recognition and everything else. Everybody has their own voice. Nobody has the exact same voice as anybody. We're a peculiar people. We have our own eye print, our own facial print, our walk, our farts. Our farts are different than everybody else's fart. Sorry, I'm not trying to kid about that. I just thought that was I added a little bit of funniness into it. So Mike probably isn't coming on until later. So I'm going to keep going. Maybe I should go on something else here. Right? Now that we understand grace and mercy. You know, all these people that have been predicting that Trump would get in, they're not even showing their face on YouTube right now. So they're feeling actually quite bad in themselves. Okay. So we're not to add to that bad feeling, right? We're not to curse them for it. Now, that's what most of us have in our minds when we say God is a God of grace, and that true is wonderful. Our eternal lives depend on it. Now, of this would be saved if grace were not undeservable favor. So we don't deserve it. Like that's what it says over grace and the power for living. But then where he comes at grace a little differently. Okay. 2 Corinthians 19. God is able to make all grace abound to you, so that you having sufficient right there. Remember how I said where sin is, grace abounds more sufficiently. You may abound in every good work, now that it seems to picture grace as a power or influence for obedience. Okay, so that's what I said. I said he's not going to have the grace for me one time when I do that sin, and he's going to let Satan take me over after I do that. Now, I'm in the point where my grace is, I'm looking at grace and mercy. Well, I'm almost ready to do that sin, and I'm going, no way. No way I'm going to give up my soul for one last time of sin. Okay? I don't want to sin. I hate my sin. All right? But when I'm doing it, I'm not hating it, obviously. But afterwards, it's horrible what you go through. Okay? If you're a child of God, he's going to chasten you. God chastens the one he loves, okay? Or chastises. They're the same thing. Jesus said to Paul, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in your weakness. So, but grace is going to run up for everybody. And it's ran out for me, okay? I push God to the limit. It's like a child. They learn what their mom and dad do, and they push them to the limit where they're going to get spanked. Well, up to over that limit of grace and mercy, you're not only going to get a spanking, you're going to get given over to Satan, and you're going to be given to a reprobate mind. I was very close to that. So there's a lot of sins that God's already warned me about, And I haven't gone back to the others. I don't even think about the others anymore. He's the one that I built in me, the strong man. And he's all, here's one. There's 12 apostles. Okay. So I was vexed. I'm vexed. Okay. Which is really bad. Okay. It's just God's grace. It tries to get back into me. So you built that sin in you. It loves this home. You may kick it out and it may go into somebody else, but it always looks to get back into its house where it grew, where your seed grew, where the evil seed grew in us. God's casted it out, but now he's using it to scare you back home. And he'll do it so many times, and then he'll give you a warning. If you're lucky, not lucky, if you're blessed, he gave me a final warning on it. I chattered my teeth all day for 2 days straight, scared. Okay. Didn't want to be, but I'm so glad that he gave me. I'm so blessed that he gave me one more opportunity. He was warning me in dream, and they were looking at me going, "What are you doing?" And then all of a sudden I seen a huge figure. I couldn't make his face out, but he was pulling. There's dead bodies everywhere. Blood filled the ocean. And I saw this thing that was bigger than the earth. Spiritual. I do believe it was Jesus saying, "I've given you far enough. This is far enough. You are going to get my wrath." And he showed me wrath coming to the earth. You're going to be, okay, so don't be partakers of his sin, because then you're going to get wrath. If you're caught in your sin when Jesus comes back, you are now time in our Christianhood to get it right. And a lot of people are going to miss that. They're not going to get it right. They're going to say, "I wish I had more time to get this right." So we're in the time where if we're caught in our sin and Jesus comes back that night, you're not making it for that one sin. It's absolutely, listen, the road is small and narrow and fewer to find it. Okay. So yeah, once you find that road, you better stay on it. Okay. So you found that road when you gave yourself to Jesus. It is hard to be a Christian. It's not easy. You're constantly fighting these evils to stay on that path. You may wander off the path and Jesus will come and lift you up again, but there's a time that comes to an end. And there's a time where God will say, "No more grace and mercy if you do it." And that's what he did with me. Because I love to teach, okay? I love to be on. I love to teach. I ask and I pray for the teachings every night, for him to give me the wisdom, for him to give me the strength and the teaching and what's to teach on. Today it was grace and mercy. Although people think it's a boring subject, it's part of it's a must need, okay? Because when you're on the path and you're going through these things, you're going to sin, because he has to manifest it out of you, and that's how you do it. And it's horrible, the ones that I did, okay? I almost had a heart attack the last time I did the sin. For 2 days, my heart was hurting. See, God's warning was very powerful. It lasted 2 days with heart pains and chest pains. It felt like I was going to have a heart attack. And inside, I felt like I lost everything, and there was no love. See, God turned his back for a bit on me and took away his love, his mercy, and his grace, just so I could feel what it felt like. And it was horrible. Like, I'm like sitting there telling my wife, "I might have to go to the hospital. I'm having heart pains. Serious heart pains." It actually pained me when I did that last sin that I did. Okay. So I had lots of pain from it. God was really showing me, "I'm going to stop your heart if you don't get this right." So not only in the dream he showed me, in my physical body as well, he was showing me. So I'm blessed to have them show me that you got one more chance and I'm going to stop your heart the next time you do it. You're giving up the ghost. You're giving up your soul. Okay. So now what are you giving your soul up to? Right? We got to make sure we keep ourselves in check. We got to clean ourselves every day. Even though we have this really bad one trying to get back in us, we have little things that come too. Like talking about people behind their back. That's why I don't do that. And like causing discord in our churches and against other Christians. You're causing other people to get upset. You're putting a stumbling block in front of a Christian. That is sinning. Okay? Because now that Christian is stumbling and they're getting upset and they're getting angry and they're sinning. So you're causing them to sin when you cause discord. Oh, when you go, that guy in the church, that guy's not a Christian. We're not supposed to point out sins. Jesus didn't come back pointing out our sins. He came back with he came back to save us, not point at our sins. Like the woman that was caught sleeping with adultery. Jesus said, okay, which one are you going to throw the rock at her first? Not one of them did. Okay. So when Jesus comes back, we're going to have some of it in us, and he's going to fully uproot all of it. And that's what we're getting. Mine as much little as you can. Okay. He also, the funny thing about the sin that we've done, I'm burning for God. When we see that sin, we almost do that sin, and we come out of it, we're on fire again. So we've burnt those evil oils that are left in you. When Satan comes, okay, so you're letting in evil, you're doing dark things. Each time you do dark thing, he leaves an oil in you. Satan does. And that's a dark black oil. Okay? And if you let that oil in you cover your light that's inside of you, you're done. If you got too much evil in you and not enough light, your light's going to be covered. You've given yourself over to Satan. Now you're going to be possessed. That's where possession comes in. So we don't want to be possessed by Satan and his minions. Okay, that's our work, man, is to keep working out those oils. But those keep your fire lit and for God. Those scare you back home. Your sin scares you back home. Especially when you almost have a heart attack from it and you see a dream with blood and dead bodies everywhere. And him warning you, these plagues are coming on you. Okay? So we got to make sure we're not a partaker of the plagues. And that is walking in obedience. That is number one thing. But I mean, if I could go on obedience, and I can guarantee you we're going to get a lot from that. 73 Bible verses. Jesus answered, okay, so John, and my Father will love him, and he will come unto him and make us abide in him, abide with him. So when you're disobedient, what's he doing? He's doing opposite of that. Seen it in a dream? Okay. It's lagging again. My son, keep thy father's commandments and forsake not the law of thy mother. Okay. See, it's forsaking him when you're sinning as well. It's also to do with your faith. You don't have faith that you can't do that sin. I've heard it. I can't get this one right. I went through it. I can't, God. I don't know what to do. I got to give this over to you because I can't get this sin right. All right? So you're forsaking him on him. He turns his back on you. Without God's love, you can't live. God's love is what holds everything together. Without it, we would have we would inside of you, your atoms. God's holding that together with love. And when he turns his back on you, they start to break up. But because you came back to him and you asked for forgiveness and you cried out to him, now he puts it back on you. We make the bed, we lie in it. Okay? That's how it goes. Okay,
Bible Gateway Deuteronomy chapter 28, Niv. If you fully obey the Lord your God and carefully follow all his commands I give you today, the Lord your God will set you high above all the nations on earth. You will be blessed in the city and blessed in the country.
You will be blessed. Okay? Shall hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commands, high above all nations of the earth. Look what he does for you if you keep them. There's actually a crown for overcoming that we get, but I don't care about the crown. We throw the crown at his feet. That's what it says in the Bible. I already threw my crown at his feet. I'll be a bum in heaven. I don't want nothing. I just want to go to heaven, and this is really like. See, Jesus doesn't come to bring peace to us. There is no peace. No Jesus, no peace. Right now, there's never been peace on the earth after Jesus left. And before he came, there wasn't peace either. There was that little short time where there wasn't even some peace, but people had peace when they were with Jesus. That Jesus is peace, okay? Part of peace is with Jesus. Let me see if I can do that again. How did I do that? I don't even know how I did that. And I used the computer to talk. I'd rather talk about it myself. Ye shall walk in all the ways which the Lord your God hath commanded you, that ye may live, and that ye may be well with you, and that ye may prolong your days in the land which ye shall possess. Now I'm telling you, that's what happened. I almost felt like I was going to die. It was the worst. He's done it to me a little bit each time, but this was the worst time that he gave me the heart troubles. To add on, okay, and personally, it's because I teach too. Okay, so most people that are teaching are walking in the obedience of the Lord. If they're not walking in the obedience of the Lord, they're teaching when I first started. And you grow as you grow, your teachings grow, and everything else grows within you. So you learn new things. The closer you get to Jesus, the more discernment, the more truth he's going to give you, the more blessings he's going to give you. He's going to draw nigh to you, closer to you. So he's knocked on my door and he's revealing more and more and more. He revealed the thing about Trump through me, and Mike had it too. I could see that he wasn't going to get put in because before Pride comes, or just after Pride comes a fall. So now that Biden's in, what comes after Pride? A fall. So get ready. When Biden takes over on the 20th, the whole world's going to flip upside down because he's going to give everything over to the beast. The beast is rising. And with Trump, they couldn't do it because Trump is a truther. Trump doesn't believe now that he's coming to Jesus. So why would they put Trump in when he's a truther? The truther is from God. God gave him the truth. So maybe a rich man can make it to heaven. Maybe Trump will be put in. His job is done. So God's taking him out to what the people want. Well, the people want a savior. Well, they're going to get one. And he's not going to be the right one because he comes first. Okay? But then he'll come, and the new Jerusalem is almost ready to come. And we'll go, and he'll destroy a lot of the evil, that the people that give themselves over. But the people that haven't given themselves over, we're going to go out and teach. So your family, Junior, you're going to turn into an angel, and they're going to see what you are. What you really are is going to come manifest out of you. And every night you're going to come in to the New Jerusalem. So how do you get from Jerusalem to where you're going to go? Because you're going to be in your spiritual body. You're going to be able to move like a spirit does, 40,000 miles an hour. And you're going to go and teach whoever's left in your family. You're going to get that opportunity to really save them. Because they're going to see that you're a child of light now. That's what they used to call them when in the light, but there was so much darkness on the face of the deep in the heart. Like Genesis says, the earth was without form and void, but void means empty, without. So there was things living here. They fell first. Okay, so I'm going to move on. Deuteronomy 28:1. How did I do what I did to get that to speak it out? It's crazy. Hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments. Okay, so that one I just read, sorry. Deuteronomy 5:23 or 33. Ye shall walk in the ways which the Lord your God hath commanded you, that ye may live, and that it may be well with you, and that may prolong. Okay, so I read that one too. May prolong your days. He was almost going to cut my days short. Okay, I almost had a heart attack. He almost cut my days short. God can take your life whenever he wants to. Okay, he could say, well, I'm going to give this one mercy. He's going to die. So when some people die and you cry and you cry and you cry, you know what? He's having mercy on some people, least in the kingdom are greatest. If you look at my YouTube subscribers, between this and my other channel, I have 100 subscribers. But all my other channel people didn't come over here. I had to regain subscribers. So maybe they weren't for me to teach. Whoever didn't come over, didn't come over. Like my buddy that comes in, his channel was my channel. I didn't, and most of them didn't come over. And I kept going on saying, come over, and they didn't. So you can't force people to do things, all right? We're not a forcing. That's what Satan does. He's controlling and force. He forces. The God of forces is what's rising. The God that they created. Okay. So James 1:22. But be ye doers of the word and not hearers only. Deceive all you want. But if you're fully not walking in obedience, you have little faith of Jesus. Okay? You're not totally you're not walking back down. I'm not going to lift you back up again. I'm going to take you're going to lose the ghost. Well, yeah, that's what I say. What am I doing? It doesn't take you. You give yourself over to Satan. Then seeking who he can devour and kill. Like a roaring lion. Doesn't mean he is, but if you give yourself over to him and God's turned his back on you and you've forsaken God and he's given over to you, you're going for a crash now. You're on the road going 500 miles an hour, giving yourself over. He doesn't kill us. We kill our own soul. Through your patience, possess ye soul. Through your patience of your. Okay, so sometimes that happens, right? So maybe it wasn't meant to put together. But okay, so Proverbs 10:17. He is the way of life that keepeth instruction, but he that refuse reproof erreth. So you can't refuse your transgressions. You can't refuse no, not that. You can't refuse God. Just take it all fully away from me. I'm refusing what he's sending on me. Therefore, I'm erring. It's quite weird how it works. Tribulation for you to glory in. So if he's giving you tribulation, what it means trial, he's sending it. He's allowing the devil, just like with Joel, or just like with Lust. He took everything of Job's, everything. He family, his wife, his kids, his cattle, his home, everything. And Job still stayed with God. Good and well work, good and faithful work. I saw. Okay, I'm just finishing up. I'm gonna go spend some time with my wife. Okay, guys. So I gotta cook supper and stuff too. So I'm just gonna finish out. How much more do I have? Okay. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain fit to you. See, he ordains his teachers. He ordains you. You are a teacher, right? He ordains you now that you give yourself. Okay, so 1 Corinthians 15:58. Therefore, I got to move fast because I want to cook for my wife and spend time with her. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for so much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. So when you're being obedient and walking in the Lord, you're and you're doing what he says, it's not in vain. Vain means that everything you're doing is for nothing. So I'm not doing this for nothing. This isn't, I'm walking in obedience with the Lord. This isn't in vain. Okay, 1 Corinthians 15:58. Therefore, my beloved brethren, these steadfast. Okay, so unmovable. Okay, it's not just have to, I want to. So now I have the choice. No, I'm not going to do that sin, because confidence towards God, and whatsoever we ask, we receive of him, because we keep his commandments and do those things that are pleasing in his sight. So, is he pleased with you when you're sinning? No, he's not sitting there. He's ready. Now you've reaped what you sow. Okay.